On the news, reps move to investigate legality of Twitter ban. OPEC members lose $1 trillion oil revenue in 2 years. And foreign reporters to be tracked by GPS at Tokyo Olympics. Glad to have you join us on News Now. I am Onyi Adekunle. President Muhammadu Buhari today held another emergency national security meeting with service chiefs and heads of the country's security formations at the State House in Abuja. Although details of the meeting were not publicly announced, it is expected to review the current security situation in different parts of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari at the last meeting outlined new security measures for the southeast and south-south zones of the country to restore peace in the regions. And a day before calling the security meeting, President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday officially received the new Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahya, at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. The meeting, which was also necessitated by the current security challenges in the country, was held to prefer a lasting solution to insecurity. Details in this next report. Officially presented to President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House in Abuja. Briefing journalists after the meeting, Defense Minister Bashir Magashi said the president shared his military experiences with the new army chief and reminded him of the current security pressures in the country.
The president received us and offered some advices how we can go about doing this operation and the entire security of the country. And we are wiser today, and we assure him that we will do our best to bring an end to the problem of security in this country.
The minister disclosed further that the meeting focused on the issue of synergy among the armed forces and all other security agencies.
Being an actor, one time or the other, has given us a direction in which we can learn from his experiences and apply them to our mode of operations. And I think we have taken the advice seriously. And the issue of synergy among the security forces was also stressed. And I'm sure there will be a lot of changes as regard to the security operation in this country.
Magashi also said Nigerians should expect many changes in the country's security operations soon.
The more concern we have is the security on banditry, kidnapping, and other criminalities. We are taking the challenge, but you know, really this is a constitutional responsibility of the police. We are only in aid to the police, and we are giving maximum cooperation we are giving maximum cooperation to the police in order to see an end to this banditry and insecurity in the Northwest. Otherwise, I think it's quite different from the Northeast. The Northeast is a Boko Haram issue, is an ideological thing, and we're out and doing to ensure that we bring an end to this Boko Haram issue, especially with this development about ISAF.
This is the first meeting between the president and the new Chief of Army Staff since he was named as replacement for the late Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, who died in a plane crash last month. The Federal Fire Service has handed over a new fire truck to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to put a check on the spate of arson on the Commission's facilities in some parts of the country. The Deputy Controller General of the service, Samson Karibu, made the deployment in Abuja. The National Security Advisor, Babagana Munguno, and Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, who are also members of the Inter-Agency Consultative Committee on Election Security, expressed optimism that this move would reduce the losses suffered to wanton destruction of critical national assets.
It is on this premise the Federal Fire Service is deploying this state-of-the-art firefighting truck to the INEC headquarters as a fire cover for the premises and the entire Maitama vicinity.
the Federal Fire Service offered to deploy additional state-of-the-art firefighting engine to the INEC headquarters to complement the 2 existing trucks. At the same time, it directed its state offices to take additional proactive measures around other INEC facilities nationwide.
This is a clear demonstration and an affirmation of the commitment of President Muhammadu Buhari towards protecting institutions of the government, towards securing their property.
We want to also inform or request fire service to advise us on fireproof issues or things that can be carried at hand or that you can use as an easy tool.
The House of Representatives has mandated a Joint Committee on Communication, Justice, Information and Culture, and National Security and Intelligence to investigate the recent decision of the federal government to suspend the operations of microblogging and social networking site Twitter in Nigeria. The Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila, made the announcement during the legislative intervention in plenary on Tuesday. Abisola Adebayo tells us more.
The suspension of Twitter operations in Nigeria has drawn the attention of lawmakers at the lower chambers. The lawmakers unanimously resolved to invite the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, to brief them on the objectives, intent and duration of the suspension. The Speaker of the House says the designated committee would find out the legal authority for the suspension of Twitter, giving the committee 10 days to execute the assignment.
It is in service of our obligations under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and our moral duty to the Nigerian people that the leadership of the House has mandated from today the House Committees on Communication, Justice, Information and Culture and National Security and Intelligence to immediately commence an investigation to determine, 1, the circumstances of the decision by the federal government of Nigeria to ban the operations of Twitter in Nigeria, and 2, the legal authority for the ban on the operations of Twitter in Nigeria. The committees are additionally mandated to invite the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, to brief the House of Representatives on the objectives, intent, and duration of the suspension of Twitter in Nigeria, and to report to the House within 10 days.
A mild drama, however, occurred when some lawmakers of the People's Democratic Party staged a walkout after its caucus leader, Kingsley Chinda, was ruled out of order by Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila. Chinda had prayed the House to urge the federal government to suspend the ban while the House conducts its investigation into the legality of the ban.
Mr. Speaker, my concern is that as a Nigerian, and for several other Nigerians out there, the implication is that for 10 days that we have given our committee to work, that this breach will continue. And we don't even know how long thereafter that our interaction with the executive arm will last. I will only want to add that for breach of fundamental human rights, particularly right to fair hearing, right to freedom of speech and expression, that we should urge the executive arm, in the interim, I use the word urge, the executive arm, in the interim, to reverse this order, pending the outcome of our interaction with the executive arm. So
Thank you, Honorable Chinda.
Yes, sir.
The next order of the second business of the day is presentation of three reports of the committee on...
Already the speaker has already ruled on it. Please resume your seat. You know the rules better. You know how to come back. You know the rules better. If you are so passionate about it, you know how to come back.
Mr. Speaker, in the circumstance, for PDP members, we have agreed with...
The next order of the day...
Please, Chinda, please, you are a ranking member.
...is the first reading.
We'll continue to tweet.
Please,
we are with Nigerians. And if the Attorney General wants to...
Where is it? Chair Clark.
The federal government has justified the ban placed on Twitter, citing the persistent use of the platform for activities that are capable of undermining Nigeria's corporate existence. Abisola Adebayo, TV360, Lagos.
About 200 National Assembly staff employed by the National Assembly Service Commission have staged a protest over the delay in the absorption into the service. The group, which carried out a peaceful protest at National Assembly premises on Tuesday, lamented that since 2018 they were yet to resume despite having done 75% of the necessary documentation required. The protesters said they have waited to no avail and are seeking justice from the National Assembly management to enable them resume duty within the next 7 working days.
We are given an employment letter by the National Assembly Service Commission dated 2018, and out of all of us giving the letter, some have been absorbed and some of us are yet to be absorbed into the National Assemblies. All hopes have been on high, and it's as if nothing is happening concerning our issue. So we came this morning, peaceful movement. What's happening? What's our faith? How long do we have to wait? We've only come here to say, please, we need help. Things are not easy for many of us. How long do we have to wait?
There was no first recruitment or second recruitment. Recruitment was done at once. The same time for everyone. Few are working, few of us are at home. It has become unjust for us to build a society where peace, justice, fairness, and equity will be. It's for our leaders to do the right thing. Social welfare of every Nigerian guarantee an egalitarian society. We want to believe that we have responsible leaders in all spheres of governance. We plead with them this moment that they should look into our plight.
In reaction, the National Assembly Service Commissioner for Northwest, Bilami Shinkafi, said the commission is looking into the situation, assuring that it will be resolved before the end of the quarter.
A recruitment exercise was conducted and a number of candidates were employed. After the expiration of the tenure of the immediate past commission, the then management went ahead to further employ additional staff apart from the ones that were employed by the immediate past commission. The issue generated a lot of problems, and as a new commission, upon our inauguration, among the issues we inherited was this particular issue. We have met severally with the management of the National Assembly with a view to resolve the issue. Discussions are still ongoing. The leadership of the National Assembly is also aware of this problem, and we are hopeful that before the end of this quarter, something positive will come up as far as their assumption of duty.
Experts in the health sector have called on government at all levels, donors and other non-state actors to make financial and impact commitments towards scaling up nutrition in Nigeria. This formed the basis for a 2-day stakeholders meeting to develop smart commitments on how to end nutrition crisis in the country. Our correspondent Simisola Adigu now reports.
According to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, Nigeria has the second highest burden of stunted children in the world, with an estimated 2 million children suffering from severe acute malnutrition. It is in a bid to change this narrative that the Ministry of Health and the civil society Scaling Up Nutrition in Nigeria have organized this summit to brainstorm and ramp up interventions to boost nutrition in Nigeria.
Nutrition is everybody's business. Every Nigerian, every mother, every child, everybody has a stake to play to ensure a good adequate nutritional status for all people of Nigeria. So work is ongoing. The sectors are doing the one they can do, and we also use this opportunity to call on all stakeholders, including every Nigerian citizen, to play their role to ensure that the medium-term plan is executed and properly carried out.
The governors, in fact, they have gone ahead of even this meeting that's happening today, because they have already identified the areas of commitment that they need to intensify actions on, and they have a scorecard which they're using to monitor those commitments.
Other stakeholders, however, warn that if no action is taken, dramatic increases in malnutrition could occur, which may threaten the decades of progress achieved so far.
Our leaders go to global conferences where commitments are made, And they return and nothing happens. Not much anyway, not much happens to ensure that the commitments they made are implemented. It is only when there are budget lines, allocations are there, and the funds are released as at when due that we can begin to implement the plans as expected.
If you look at Nigeria in the last 10, 15 years, we've only been able to reduce stunting by barely 5% or so, which is not acceptable. Nigeria is at risk, our future is at risk. The people who is going to rule this country tomorrow, if they are stunted, it means we won't have the best of persons handling the reins of this country. And so we need to do something. And what are we supposed to do? The fundings that are allocated and released are not sufficient.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is expected to present the commitments arrived at during the meeting on behalf of the federal government at the Nutrition for Growth Summit in Tokyo, Japan, later in December. Semisola Dugu, TV360 News.
And in a bid to end violence against women and girls in the country, the Nasrullah Fati Society, NASFAT, in collaboration with the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has commenced a campaign to help bring perpetrators to book, as well as follow up on mental health of victims. Stakeholders at the event noted that tackling the root causes of violence against the female gender is necessary to combat the menace completely.
To address the issues of violence against women and girls, the EU, in partnership with the United Nations system, is implementing the Spotlight Initiative. The Spotlight Initiative essentially focuses on prevention efforts by addressing the root causes of violence against women and girls and ensuring access to services, to inclusive, timely, and quality services for women and girls, and of course, survivors.
The implication of settling out of court all the time. By the time you let a perpetrator go scot-free, definitely there is tendency, there is high probability that he will continue to perpetrate other people. We sensitize them that the fact that you get justice for a survivor does not mean it is going to be the end of the relationship in the family. We want them to see from the perspective of the fact that the survivor is experiencing emotional turmoil. So in order to stop the perpetrators from violating other people, there is need for us to bring that person to book.
Once it has been identified, once it has been confirmed that if you marry out a gay child at a particular age, she's going to be exposed to medical complications. Don't go into it.
Well, let's take a break here, but still to come, French President Emmanuel Macron slapped in the face during walkabout in southern France. Details of that and more shortly. Thank you for staying with us on News Now. Now, here's a quick reminder of some of our top stories tonight. The House of Representatives has summoned the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, to appear before a joint committee on justice, commerce and information over the controversial suspension of Twitter operations in Nigeria. The committee will also investigate the process that led to the suspension of the platform and report to the House in the next 10 days. And we also told you that the Federal Fire Service has handed over a new fire truck to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to put a check on the spate of arson on the Commission's facilities in some parts of the country. And in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. 94 persons who have recovered from COVID-19 have been discharged from different hospitals across the country after successful treatment. Latest update by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) on Monday night also showed that 49 new coronavirus cases were recorded in 5 states in the last 24 hours. For the first time, Ondo State topped the infection chart with 30 cases. The new infections raised the total tally in the country to 166,816. Meanwhile, the fatality toll stands at 2,111 and 17 rather, as nobody has died from the infectious disease in the past 6 days. And the head of mission and representative of the World Health Organization in Nigeria, Walter Mulumbo, says the COVID-19 pandemic has exposed the weaknesses and vulnerabilities in food production and control systems in Nigeria. In a speech to mark the 2021 World Food Safety Day, Mulumbo said over 9 million Nigerians are at risk of food insecurity. He added that the figure is expected to increase to over 12.8 million people from June to August 2021 unless resilience-focused and humanitarian actions are taken. Well, we'll take another break here and return with business updates. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Let's now join Abisola Adebayo for the latest in the world of business. Over to you now, Abisola.
Thank you very much, Oyin. Welcome to Business News. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, says Nigeria and oil-producing members lost about $1 trillion in revenue within 2 years. Sanusi Barkindo, Secretary General of OPEC, disclosed this at the 2021 Nigeria International Petroleum Summit held in Abuja on Monday. Barkindo says the loss was as a result of the plunge in oil prices between 2015 and 2016, adding that the fall in oil revenue affected government spending and investment during the period. The OPEC boss added that exploration and production spending fell by 25%, amounting to above $300 billion in both 2015 and 2016. We'll take a pause here and return with stock market review. Sell-offs eased on the floor of the Nigeria exchange today as the appearance of the bulls spurred the market to an increment of about 100 billion naira. Crucial market indicators rose by 0.50%, as you can see right here, to close at 38,881 basis points. Market capitalization today also stood at 20.266 trillion naira. Moving on now to our gainers list today. Okomu Oil and Learn Africa topped our gainers list of 4 today. They led the list of active stocks that recorded impressive volume spike today. They recorded a combined 9 naira 74 kobo. On the flip side, that's on our losers list today. CWG and Regalins maintained their position on the losers table since last week, and today they recorded a combined 17 kobo loss. In summary now, that volume today, 218 million units of volume valued at 1 billion naira, exchange as in 3,630 deals. On the global market, that's the foreign scene, the FTSE, the Dow Jones and the Nikkei. The FTSE ended positive today with coal miner Tongia Resources leading the way, even though investors remain cautious due to uncertainties. It recorded a 0.28% increase. The Dow Jones continued its negative trend from yesterday as Bitcoin plunged between $32,000. It recorded a 0.018% decline. Japan benchmark Nikkei ended lower in thin trade today as falls in heavyweight components helped the index lose its earlier gains. It recorded a 0.10% decline. That's all on Stock Market Review. Over to Oyin for the rest of the news.
Thank you for that update, Bisola. We'll move on now to developments in France, where President Emmanuel Macron was slapped in the face on Tuesday by a man in a crowd of onlookers while on a walkabout in southern France, an incident that his prime minister denounced as an affront to democracy. In a video circulating on social media, Macron reached out his hand to greet a man in a small crowd standing behind a metal barrier as the president visited a professional training college for the hospitality industry. The man, who was dressed in a khaki T-shirt, then slapped the French president on the left side of his face while shouting the battle cry of the French army when the country was still a monarchy. Well, it's now time for Entertainment Report on News Now.
The 2020 film Rattlesnake: The Ahana Story is set to premiere exclusively on Netflix pretty soon. According to the executive producer Charles Okpaleke, the movie has been licensed by the streaming platform for international release. Directed by Ramsey Nouah, the reboot brings twist to the original classic by Amaka Igwe, which follows the story of Ahana, a young man who turns to crime following the betrayal of his uncle and mother. He then sets up a gang of multi-talented criminals called the Armandas, and the gang thrive till they meet their final defeat. It stars Stan Inze, Buchi Franklin, Osas Igodaro, Brutus Richards, as well as Nollywood veterans Chinyere Wilfred, Chiwetalu Agu, amongst others. The original starred Francis Duru in the lead role alongside Ikem Owo. The reboot premiered in November 2020 and reportedly grossed 70 million naira in the box office. Multi-award-winning actor, singer, voiceover artist, and TV presenter Joseph Benjamin is set to release his long-awaited audio track, I Will Praise. He described the song as a direct call to heaven through praise and was recorded in collaboration with US-based gospel minister Nana Adua. On his collaboration with the talented Ghanaian US-based singer Nana, he added that he wanted to do something somewhat different from the norm. Benjamin added much of his talent to this new single and will be hoping to inspire his loving fans across Africa and the world when he drops on 11th June on all online music stores distributed by Prime Music Partners. And that's all we have on the entertainment segment of News Now.
And in sports, international journalists covering the Tokyo Olympics will have their movements tracked by GPS and could have their passes revoked if they break the rules. Tokyo 2020 President Seiko Hashimoto said tracking technology would be used to make sure reporters only go where they're supposed to, adding that journalists will be urged to stay in designated hotels rather than private lodgings. With the games opening in just over 6 weeks, organizers are trying to keep visitors under close supervision to reassure a skeptical public that the mega event can be held safely under strict virus rules. Well, that's it on News Now at this time. Well, thank you for watching. I am Oyi Adekunle. Bye for now.